Blade leader. Alright, so Goldshire Footman is kind of the poster man for a not very good card, so we're going to pass on the Goldshire Footman. He's really, you can only take him if you have no other options. He doesn't serve as a very good wall, being very easily removed with 2 health, and then 1 attack is really never going to trade very effectively with much of anything, so don't really value Taunt very highly, especially when the Taunt is that easy to get through. Assassin's Blade really never want more than 1, like we've mentioned a few times. No matter how much this arena run wants us to have 2 Assassin's Blade, we're probably going to take almost anything else over the second, as 2 could just be very awkward and can lose you games if you get a second one of these sitting in your hand. So we're going to take the South Sea Deckhand. Not terribly excited for another 1-drop, but this definitely isn't the worst 1-drop. He's got those 2-1 stats like we mentioned before. He even has applications in the later game, since he's usually going to have charge, or we can easily give him charge by using our hero power. Synergizes particularly well with Rogue, so we're going to take this guy, fill in our 1-drop slot a little bit. Alright, more 2-drops. So, Novice Engineer, again, we kind of talked about how this is a huge tempo loss. Not really where you want to be, especially for how tempo-oriented our deck is. We're really looking into playing some really early bombs and some really good early threats and running away with the game from there. Novice Engineer is not going to be running away with any games anytime soon. We see another Assassin's Blade, and no matter how much it wants us to assassinate things, we're not taking another one of those. Just make our deck a little too awkward. So, Fairy Dragon, really a premium 2-drop. Really hard to deal with this card. Your opponent has to have a 2-drop, or else this guy's going to often run away with at least the first 2 or 3 turns of the game. So, definitely taking the Fairy Dragon. We got this incredibly strong 2-drop slot here. So this one's kind of interesting, actually. So Fan and I still feel this is a little bit low impact. Not super excited about this. We only have 1 spell damage minion, so not a ton of upside on our Fan and Knives. Mad Bomber is actually a pretty solid 2-drop. He is pretty risky, though, but I mean, he's a 3/2 for 2 mana. You can't really get too upset about that. He's got some synergy with, say, Amani Berserker, although there is the risk you could just hit all 3 on your Amani Berserker and lose your Berserker. My opponent did that to themselves once. And so there's definitely situations where Bomber's really bad, but he is a solid 2-drop. But as I'm sure you can tell, we're pretty much set in our 2-drop slot here. And Stranglethorn Tiger is a pretty awesome 5-drop. Again, this is one card that a lot of newer players will overlook, just because it's very vanilla, very generic. It's just a 5/5 for 5 mana with Stealth. And Stealth, while not the most exciting ability, really has a lot of applications. You can use it to basically guarantee that this tiger is either going to kill the minion you want it to, or is going to get that 5 damage in, unless they have a taunt. So, while your opponent can't eviscerate it, with spell power or something to kill it, they can't fireball it to kill it, you're always going to get some value out of this tiger usually. And a 5/5 for 5 is perfectly reasonable. Fits our curve well, so we're going to go and take the tiger here. Alright, now this is what I'm talking about. So both of these 4-drops are premium 4-drops. Let's talk about the Vanish real quick. The Vanish can be a huge blowout near the end of the game, but just the fact that this costs 6 mana, it's usually not going to be worth taking one of these unless you have no real other quality options, since there's going to be more situations than not where it's just going to be a dead card in your hand until near the end of the game. So definitely want to take the Spellbreaker or the Shieldmaster. Both of these are fantastic. I think due to the aggressive nature of the deck, I think I want to take the Spellbreaker. It allows us to silence a taunt so that our minions can continue to push damage. If our opponent has a huge legendary, he allows us to deal with that. Silence is just very valuable in general. It allows you to deal with a lot of wide breadth of different threats. And so we're going to take, the Spellbreaker. Senjin Shieldmaster is also an excellent card, but due to the tempo nature of our deck, I really like having that battle cry that allows us to interact with the board and try to build a favorable board presence and then trade with our other efficient minions. So we're going to take the Spellbreaker here.